Hello, I'm Sam Booth and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going over a piano technique tutorial on Comptine. Now, I already did another video on Comptine in the past, and that was looking at the left hand, and I did this when I first started my YouTube channel. But now I've had a few requests from some of my other subscribers asking me to look at the right hand. And really what this is addressing is the technical side on how to approach playing a song like this. So it's not really a tutorial with a focus on learning how to play the notes, even though I will cover a little bit of that. This is more to do with how to get the technique going so you can get the flow of that right hand and the left hand together, and some of the things and tools that you can be using to take away to improve on what you've already done when it comes to learning Comptine. So let's get into it, and if you haven't already done so, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment in the description box below, and I'll get back to you. And if you have any questions about anything to do with this video or anything to do with learning the piano, by all means you can send me an email, my email is in the description box below, and I'll get back to you. So let's get into this video and let's get started. So to start off with, I'm going to have a look at the right hand, where we have these faster semiquavers which it develops into. So let me show you this part then. So we start with the right hand, finger 1 on the B, 2 on the E, and then 5 on the higher B. And what we're doing is this. So we're going 1 on B, 2 on E, 5 on B, back and forth. And then back to B, and then to finger 2 on the E, and then we go to 1 on the C, back to E, and then we're going to go to 1 on B, and then 2 on the D, 5 on the B. This is a big stretch. And then back to 1 on B, up to 2 on the D, down to 1 on the A. Now, at this point here, it's a big stretch all the way down to the F sharp. Now, let me just play this bit. 1 on the F sharp, 2 on the B, up to 5 on the higher F sharp, back down. And then back to F sharp. And now here we go to the 1 on the G, back to 2 on the B, and then to 1 on the A. 2 on the D, 5 on the higher A, and then down to 1 on the G, back to higher, 2 on D. So let me now try that again, and I'm going to go a little bit faster. Now, you may have noticed that I'm using the pedal at the same time, and the reason for that is because when I play that right hand, to make a full connection with all of those notes would be sort of next to impossible to be able to do that without it sounding a bit lumpy and unsmooth. So let me give you an example. If I do that again. Now let me show you the example. Here I've got to now get to the F sharp, which is this one here. The problem with that is if I try to connect that, there's almost a gap. So let me take the pedal out. Did you hear that gap? So again, it already sounds quite unsmooth and a bit lumpy there. So that's the first issue that we've got. So if I play that a bit faster, you'll see how noticeable that sort of gap between the notes becomes. So really the main trouble with this right hand is the gap which has been created once you went from the 1 on the B down to the 1 on the F sharp, that position change. So let's bring in the pedal, and remember that no matter how smooth I play the rest of it, if that pedal is not included within the playing, that gap will still be there. Now, it's really important to understand and stress that when you're using a pedal, okay, do not rely on it to make connections. This connection is known as something called legato. So you actually have to make sure all the other notes are being connected. So let's take, for example, right at the beginning. You can still hear, even though I don't have the pedal, there's still this connection between each note. That's not smooth at all. It sounds a bit more like a staccato, which is not what we're trying to get at here. So now let me bring the pedal in. Now listen to this. So straight away you can hear that when I brought that pedal in, I was able to make it sound smoother, even though there was a jump. You just want to be really careful as well though, that when you think about playing that you also consider your dynamics as well. So what you don't want to do is when you're then jumping to that F sharp, making it louder, will still sound unsmooth. That's too much. Okay, so that's the first issue that we need to think about, is making sure that every note is as smooth as possible and connected in the best way. Then the second issue that we have with playing this is to do with the hand feeling like it's continuously stretched all the time. Now, let me show you what I mean. As you can see, the hand is really stretched. If I was to play this continuously over and over again, particularly at this point here, the hand just feels really stretched. So what am I going to do to combat this? Well, what I want to do is use something called wrist movement. So the wrist moves laterally from left to right. So let me show you. Can you see how the hand moves? But it's not just moving, it's almost moving in this circular motion. I don't want to overdo the circular motion, but it's just a slight motion from left to right. So if I just now show you that. And even more so here. And it just really helps with the shaping. So if I now play that a bit faster, see? So that will require some slow practice. So the two things that you need to be thinking about are the hand position, so making sure that it's not too stationary, but it's moving around, okay? Because it just gives a bit of relief to the fingers. Because if you look here, I've got the 2 on the E, but then as soon as I move my 5 over to the B, and then I move the wrist from the left to the right, that just adds a bit of relief of the unnatural stretch between the 2 and the 5. So thinking about that movement from left to right in a circular motion is really going to help to relieve any stress in that right hand. And then the second thing you need to be thinking about is your pedaling. Okay, so we talked about earlier the movement to the F sharp. Again, that is going to sound quite lumpy if you're not bringing that pedal in. And also making sure that dynamically it's not too loud when you make the jump, because if you look here, as I'm moving, I can easily make that note louder. So just watch out for that. Watch out that it's not loud as you move from each position. And then the second point related to that pedaling is ensuring that you pedal at the right time. So my advice for pedaling would be at the change of every single position change or harmonic change. So for example, here we had the first position where we had 1 on B, 2 on E and 5 on B. And then we had the second position where we have the 1 on B, 2 on the D and then 5 on the B, which I can hardly stretch. It's quite a horrible stretch there when you're just playing it like this, but I'm just trying to simplify it for you. And then the next position where we have the 1 on the F sharp, 2 on the B and 5 on the higher F sharp. And then finally the last position where we have a 1 on the A, 2 on the D and then 5 on the higher A. So if I just activate the pedal every time that position changes and the harmony or the harmonic points change at these same times, you will see what happens. Remember, you must lift up the pedal and change it, because if you don't, then the sound just starts to mush together and it won't sound quite as nice. Like this, for example. It's too much. So remember, pedal, 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 pedal. Now, I would say for this particular video, this is probably not the best video to get started with by learning how to pedal. So if this is still something that you're focusing on doing, I would recommend beginning with something a bit more simpler before you start trying to pedal something like Comptine. So yeah, that's just something to think about, as this video is not directly a tutorial on pedaling as itself. So yeah, just think about that before beginning trying to pedal that right hand. Now, I want to now bring that in with the left hand. So let me just show you what we're going to do. We're going to bring the left hand in. Now, the left hand pattern, which I did in an earlier video, which I'll link that down in the description box, which you can also have a look at, starts like this. So I recommend you go and have a look at the video for that left hand before beginning this left hand, as I'm not going to go through that left hand in this particular video. Just have a look at the link below and you'll get a sort of a tutorial on how to do that left hand. So we're going to slowly try and do this together. For every left hand note that we play, we must play 2 in the right. So for example, like this, like that, and then we play the B in the left, and then 2 notes again, and then 2 notes again, and then together, and then 2 notes again, and it continues to the new position. Keeping those 2 notes always assigned to one on the left, and then 2 notes again, making the jump to F sharp. So I would recommend that you practice doing this really slow in the way that I've just done, and then start to build up your speed a bit more. Now, this is where this technique becomes more of an issue if not used correctly. We talked about the whole idea of the right hand with the movement. Well, that movement now needs to become more part of the practice when you start to play faster, because otherwise your hand feels really stretched, particularly when playing faster. You can start to really feel the tension within that hand. So now watch what happens when I start to play. My hand is just completely stretched. So now I'm going to now play this faster, but with the movement. Start to bring that movement in. Let me show you. It's a lot easier. My hand does not feel stretched in the same way as I did before. So that's the end of today's video, and if you have any questions regarding anything to do with the technical stuff or anything to do with the pedaling or the dynamic balance between right hand or left hand or anything else for that matter, you can always leave a comment in the comment box below, or you can also send me any questions via my email. If it's anything to do with learning to play the piano, I'll be happy to take your inquiries on that as well. But don't forget, before you leave, don't forget to give it a subscribe right here and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video. And likewise, if you have any questions about any videos that you think you haven't seen on YouTube which you'd like to see regarding learning a piano, you can always leave those in the comments and I will get back to you very soon. I'll see you on the next video.